Hey, we're ready. Are we on? Looks like we're on.
Is it gonna pan at me?
Kelsey, let's throw it to her and take off.
Hello everyone, my name is Kelsey and I'm gonna be starting us off today. Today I'm gonna talk about how to make slime and why it's important. Did you know that making slime is not just a craft for kids, but it can also be used as a good stress reliever that many people of all ages can use? Today, I will walk you through a step-by-step process of how to make slime, explain each ingredient and their purpose, and how this can apply to people in a wider aspect. There are many different recipes for slime out in the world. With one click of a button, you can look up slime online and you can have hundreds of different recipes for hundreds of different kinds of slime. The one I chose today is relatively simple and it uses good household ingredients that typically is in a household, so it should be easy access for everyone in here. The first ingredient I'm going to be using is glue. Glue acts as the base of the slime. Without glue, there would not be a stretchy and sticky material for all the rest of the ingredients to stick to. Glue acts as the foundation of the slime. Without it, there wouldn't be any slime. Just get all that out there real quick. Okay, I'll just stick that to the side. The next ingredients are baking soda and contact solution or activator, as some people call it. Baking soda helps to thicken the slime and helps it to give it more of a structure. In reaction with the glue, it gives it more of a firmer texture to be able to hold. Same with the activator or the contact solution. It helps it bind together so you can hold it and it's not just glue anymore, but it actually has some sort of firmness to be able to hold. It's important noting that if you add too much activator or too much baking soda, it will end up making your slime break more. You can already see it kind of forming together to make more of a stretchy material and not just glue anymore. Now you can keep adding more contact solution and more baking soda to get your proper amount. It just depends on how much glue you put in there to use. The next ingredients I'm going to use to make this slime are not actually necessary, but they do add a little more character. They make it more uniquely yours. I have shaving cream. Shaving cream allows your slime to have a different texture. If I could shake it up a little bit. That's good enough. It makes it fluffy instead of slimy in some case. And it also gives it more volume, so that way you have more to play with and not just a little bit. But you can see it all coming together in there. And then I also have color. You can add whatever color you want to make it your own slime. I'm going to be making green. Green is my favorite color. You can add as much as you want. The more you add, darker it'll get. And you just stir that in there. You can see it all coming together. There's some more unique things you can add into your slime, like beads, you can add glitter, you can add really whatever you want. I've seen people add puff balls, like those little puff balls into their slime. It gives it more texture and it makes it more unique. However, a lot of those things are a lot more messy and I don't want to be doing that today. But as you can see, it's all coming together. Somehow it's coming off the side. And then eventually, whenever it's less slimy and it can actually be held, you can start kneading it together like dough in your hands to stretch it out, create more stretch, get it mixed thoroughly, and also get it to the right texture that you desire. Sometimes people will take it out of the bowl and put it onto a table, or if they have hardwood floors, they'll put it on there and just be able to play with it more and have more space to play with it. I also will not be doing that in this classroom because I don't want to have to clean up. But the broader application of making slime, besides the fact that it's a fun thing to do, it offers a break from stress from the world. It gives us a chance to use our creativity and gives your brain the break it needs. Slime is not the only way to do this. We also have many other creative aspects like puzzles, painting, coloring. and so much more. These creative activities are much more effective for taking breaks than being on your phone. Being on your phone could lead to more fatigue and stress, whereas crafts like making slime or puzzles allow for hands-on activities so that way your brain can have more focus and be able to reset. Slime is just one of these many different creative approaches that people can take. In closing, slime can be made with easy household ingredients, like I said, with glue or baking soda or contact solution. It takes very little time and can positively impact your mind by allowing you to have the stress break that you need. It's not just a craft for kids. It is a great way to take a break from the busyness of the world. I encourage you to make slime, get creative, and take the breaks you need. Any questions?
Why doesn't it stick to your hands if it's made of glue?
Well, all of the other ingredients you add to it, like contact solution and baking soda, help it to firm up. And it will stick to your hands at first if you do start messing with it, but with all these ingredients together, the more you mess with it, the more it won't. It'll like come together and you'll be able to stretch it more. Okay, any other questions?
Good, let's give her a hand. Way to go. Okay, up next is Jasmine.
Get out of your way real quick. I gotta get the loose with the glue. Thank you.
Have you ever bought yourself a softball or baseball glove and needed to break it in? Today, I'm going to show you the steps in the process how to do so. This is important because as an ex-softball player, I can tell you that in order to play good catch pop flies, and stop ground balls, having a glove that is comfortable and squeezable can help you with these requirements. Today, I'll go over the steps how to break in the glove with rubber bands, a softball, and olive glove foil, and I'll explain each step as I go on. The first step is you want to grab your brand new softball or baseball glove. The next step is to grab your glove oil. You can use your hands or you can use a paper towel. Either way is easier. It's not a good feeling. I'm gonna use my hands. Maybe I should put something down. You put it on the leather, like so. Just all over it. This oil will help it stretch more easily and break more easy as you go to break it in. The next step is you take your softball or baseball that you're going to play with and you put it in what I call is the web part. This is where you want to catch all your pop flies, or when you play catch, put it in like so. It helps mold the softball or baseball glove into the shape that you want it as. And then you take your rubber band and you put it on like so. Then you put it wherever you want. You can put it, I always put it in the kitchen or in my bedroom, and you let it sit there for 2 to 5 days. When those 2 to 5 days comes or up, you just simply take the rubber band off and take your ball out, and your glove should look something like this. Now, when you're playing catch or anything like that, what I always did was put my glove on like this on the top of my softball helmet. That can also help stretch this out in the web where you need it to play catch. Breaking in a softball or baseball glove is important because in order to be a good softball player, you have to be able to have a glove that you can squeeze because playing catch is your number one goal. If you can't play catch, then you can't hit a softball. You can't softball flies or ground balls. It's eye coordination. Any questions?
Is that your first glove?
No,
How many gloves have you had?
like 3. This is my longest one that lasts.
So that's your current one.
Current one, yeah.
Good. Okay. All right, no more questions. Let's give her a hand. Okay, so next is gonna be Grace.
Have you ever needed to have a gift for somebody, but you're kind of running short on money? Today, I'm going to show you how to make your own gifts, and I'm going to show you how to make jewelry out of beads. And the good thing about this is not only is it simple and it's relatively cheap, but also if you're like me and you have really sensitive skin and you're like allergic to a bunch of metals, these don't have any metal, it's just plastic. And so if you have friends who have allergies too, you don't have to worry about them not being able to wear your gift. Like anybody can wear it and it's really simple to make. So all you need is string and beads and then scissors to cut the string is all you need to make it. So to start out, you'll take your string and I'm going to show you how to make these flower ones here. If I could have the desk cam. So these, I don't know if you, so these ones that I'm wearing that have the little flowers, I'm going to show you how to make those today. So first you'll want to take your string and you'll tie it into a simple knot just like this. You'll loop it and then you'll pull the end through just like that. And that is just to make sure that the beads don't slide off while you're making your bracelet. And then today I brought some bigger beads than I normally use just so it's easier to see and it's also easier to make the flowers when the hole in the bead is bigger. These are a size 6 bead, I believe, and I usually use a size 8 or 12. And to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what that measurement means, but I do know the bigger the number, the smaller the bead is, and then the smaller the number, the bigger the bead is. So so to start, you'll want to grab 4 of the beads that you're going to use for your petal color. So I'll use pink. And you'll just stick them on the end of the bead just like that, or the string. And once you have those 4 on the string like that, you'll take a color for the center of your flower, and I'll use yellow for that. And you'll put it on just right on top. And after it looks like this, you'll take the end of your string and the first bead you put on, and you'll just stick it right through it again, just like that. And once it looks like this, you just take the end of the string and pull it tight. And then you'll have the first half of your flower just like that. And if you need to move it down, it just slides really easily. You can just slide it back and forth depending on how much string you need left. And then after you have this, you'll take 2 more beads of your petal color. And you can do different colors if you want. I just prefer them all to be the same color so it's easier to see. So once you have those 2 beads on the end of your string, just like this, you'll take this petal bead that's on the end closest to the middle, and you'll just take your string and put it back through and pull it tight. And then you have your flower just like that. It's super simple, and you can do it while you're watching TV, you could do it while you're listening to an audiobook or whatever, and just something mindless, and it just gets your, you can use your creativity to make something for someone, or if you're short on money, you could also sell them and things like that. And then once you have your flowers to make it more of a bracelet, you can just add, whatever other color you want. And it depends on how big your wrist is, how many beads you'll want to add. And for bigger beads like this, I usually add about 4 in the middle. And then it will look something like that. And then you can just build another flower right on top. So you'll take the 4 petal color beads. Oops. So you'll take the 4 just like that. Add the center. I can stop dropping them. You'll add the center, stick it through the end, pull it tight, and then add 2 more beads. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. 2 more, and then you'll just stick it through the one on the end, just like that, and pull tight. And these flowers, you can slide them down, so see how my other one's all the way down here, and this one's up here. You can just pinch it and slide it all the way down, and they're right next to each other. And then to finish it off, I brought one that was almost done, just so you don't have to watch me make a whole thing. So I've got this one that's pretty much finished, and you'll take both of the ends of the string, and you'll pinch them between your fingers like this. You'll cross it over, just like that, and then you'll want to loop it together to close off the bracelet. And you'll just pull it tight, and I like to do that a couple times just to make sure it's not going to come apart. And sometimes the bigger the beads, the more like loops you'll want to do, just so that it doesn't come apart, because since the holes are bigger, it's easier for them to slide off. So once it's relatively tight, just like that, and I like to kind of test it and see if it's going to come apart, and once you think it's good, you just slide it on just like that, and that is how you make those bracelets. So in closing, I just want to say that it's always good to make homemade gifts for people, because not only is it cheaper, but it also, not only does it make the person you're giving the gift to happy, but it also makes you happy when you can give someone something that you yourself made, whether that's making jewelry or baking something or drawing a picture, making a homemade card. Homemade gifts always resonate with people better. Any questions?
Very good. Good job. Okay, Caden is up next. Put the desk cam on just for us for a second. Let's see what the, let's go all the way, go ahead and put that down. Just want to make sure it's out as far as it can be. I think that's probably good. Okay.
Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever tried to swing a golf club only for the ball to roll a few feet or not move at all? The golf swing may look simple, but it's one of the hardest things to perfect. Today, I'll be walking you through the process of swinging the golf club. This is important because whether you're just starting out or want to improve, mastering the basic sets for the foundation for success in golf. Today, I will talk about how to grip the club, your stance, and your follow-through. The very first step is gripping the club. There are many ways to grip the club, but this is just how I was taught. I like to interlock my pinky and my finger together and like almost fold my hand over, just like in that first picture. This step is necessary because the grip controls the angle of the club face, and the club face controls where the ball goes. Now that you've got your grip, you need to line up properly. Stand shoulder width apart with your knees slightly bent and your weight balanced. Position the ball depending on the club, more toward the center for shorter clubs and more towards the back for drivers. That's an example. Next comes the most critical motion, the backswing. Rotate your shoulders and hips smoothly while keeping your eyes on the ball. Your lead arm should stay straight but relaxed. Beginners often swing too fast and lose balance and just lose control of the club. Finally, complete the motion with your downswing and follow through. Transfer your weight to your front foot, strike the ball with the center of the club face, and let your body naturally rotate forward. Just like in this picture. To know you have completed your golf swing, your chest should be facing outwards. I hope you guys have the chance to golf, and yeah. Any questions?
What's the wider application globally of being able to do this?
You get to be out in nature and you get to hang out with your buddies.
Okay, but let's say if you can master the mechanics of the golf swings,
Mhm.
then you can.
You're good. I don't know.
What else can you do? What does self-discipline bring? I'm not trying to. It's not a trick question, really. All I'm trying to get you to say is, like, if you can master the golf swing, then you can master all kinds of complicated tasks. Let's hear that. If you can master the
If you
golf
can master
swing,
the golf swing, you can handle more difficult tasks.
that's what I was looking for. Thank you. Okay, good job. Caden's under a lot of pressure. He's our only concurrent student, high school student, so he's on over the grill here. But that was a good job. Let's see. We already know who's next. Alyssa's next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever seen somebody jump on a horse only for the saddle to slip off or the horse to act up? Most of the time, this isn't the horse's fault. It's because of other aspects. So today I'm going to explain to you how to properly saddle a horse. My purpose is to show you the step-by-step process, but also to show you the importance of both safety for you and comfort for your horse. The first step is preparation, so grooming your horse. Most people would first grab for a curry comb, which is a comb that's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like teeth kind of, and you would go in a circular motion to bring all the debris and dust to the surface. And then you would go in with a hard brush and flick all of the dirt and stuff off. And then there's more steps to that, but that's just the broader application of that. Grooming also gives you a chance to check your horse for any injury. So, like, say they have a scrape on their back, you would see that while you're grooming them. You also want to handle your horse calmly when you're doing all of these steps because your horse can feed off of your energy. So if you're calm, your horse is going to also be calm. Next comes the saddle pad, which acts as a cushion for your horse, and you want to place it gently on your horse's back, slightly forward. And you want to make sure their hair is also like laying flat, so you don't want it to be like brushed up. But you want it to lay directly like behind the withers. The withers is the bone of their neck that connects with their back. You just want it slightly kind of directly, it's kind of back, but not all the way back. It's kind of difficult to explain when you don't have an actual horse. After the pad is placed, next comes your saddle. You want to place that directly on top of the pad. Sorry. Also, I would like to mention you do this all from the left side of their body. You don't ever want to saddle from the left side or the right side, or you don't get on from the right side either. It's just, we just don't do it. I don't know why. It's just what we've been taught. So you just place that directly on the top of the pad. And you do not place this on the withers at all. It's farther back. You want to make sure that that's centered because you don't want to be sideways on your horse. It has to be centered because it distributes your weight comfortably for the horse. Now comes the most important part, which is cinching. This is a cinch, or this is the girth and this is a cinch. This just holds your saddle onto your horse. So when you do this, you run it through, and you want to do this to where it makes it like 4 layers, like a double stuffed Oreo. That's how I was taught. So there's 2. This will be 3, and come up That's 4. So next comes your Texas T-knot. You run this towards the shoulders. I don't have it. Towards the shoulders, back, and then down. I know it's a lot, but when you learn it at a young age, it just comes to you naturally. Most saddles would have, these are for a back cinch. I just took mine off because it makes it heavier and I didn't want to have to carry it up here. When you're cinching, you want this to be just tight enough to where you can wiggle your 2 fingers in and it not be super tight so the horse can't breathe, but you want it to be comfortable where you're not going to fall off. Next, your step is to do a final check. So you want to make sure, like, run your hand under your saddle pad, make sure there's no, like, wrinkles or anything that got caught under there. So that, because if there is something under there, it can cause sores for your horse and then you can't ride and a whole thing. So to review, saddling your horse involves 5 main steps: prepping your horse, setting the saddle pad, and then the saddle, and then cinching. The whole purpose of this is to show you that if you can do these steps that involve like responsibility and all the things, that you can do other things that involve responsibilities. Any questions?
Anybody? No, let's say yay. Good job. We know you have to go, so
Yes.
it's okay to roll your stuff out of here. But I'll say before you go, your voice was much stronger today. You see, right at the end, I could tell you weren't breathing. I wanted to say, breathe, Melissa. Because that's what happens as soon as you stop breathing and your voice gets shaky.
Yes.
But it was strong all the way up till the very end. So good job on that. Bailey, coming up next.
Give me a start.
Yeah. Go ahead, take off.
Did you know that crochet is made up almost entirely of math? Every stitch, row, and measurement have to be perfectly calculated in order to get the correct fit. Not only is crochet a fun hobby to have, it's also an easy way to make your own clothing. Today we'll start by looking at the process of measurements, how to dissect a pattern, avoiding shrinkage, and finally how to create your own custom piece. So, before starting any crochet project, you need to understand measurements as a whole. If you've ever struggled to find your exact size in clothing, you're not alone. In fact, 62% of shoppers claim that they struggle to find clothing that fits them well. One of the main reasons why clothing from stores don't always fit right is because they're designed for the average body type. In other words, brands focus on creating pieces that can fit anybody rather than creating pieces that prioritizing quality or individual fit. As a result, clothing is usually sized in very broad categories like small, medium, or large. These can work for many people, but they rarely fit perfectly or even look very good. So if you're looking to get that perfect fit, it's worth looking into creating your own clothing. When making custom clothing, you need to account for all measurements, like your hips, waist, shoulders, height, and other unique characteristics. This is where crochet can come in handy. Crochet is one of the simplest forms of clothing making, and it's also low risk, because if you mess up, you can always just unravel and start again. So once you understand your personal measurements, you can copy and recreate pieces you love to fit you perfectly. So, for example, if I can use the desktop camera. Okay. Here's a picture of a bikini I saw online that I really liked. It was $30 and I didn't want to pay it. And I wasn't sure if it was going to fit me correctly since I couldn't try it on. So what I did was I looked at this picture and I tried to highlight it, but those are the stitches they used. And I was able to see which ones they used, and I took my measurements and created my own pattern from that. So a little trick I have is you can actually paste pictures like these into ChatGPT, and it will tell you exactly which stitches were used where, and it'll give you an outline where you can start making your pattern. So you don't always need a written pattern. You can make your own pieces by reverse engineering a picture and observing stitches in construction. So one of the biggest mistakes that beginners can make is not accounting for shrinkage. What is shrinkage? This is when your project tightens up and comes out smaller than the original starting size. This can be due to the types of stitches you're using, such as single crochet stitches, which are smaller and tighter, or even your yarn can play a big play a big part in this. Like cotton yarn is tighter than acrylic yarn is. So the solution to this would be making a test swatch, which is just a small square you make using the same stitches and yarn that you plan to use in your project. This is the easiest way to preview your project and see where shrinkage might occur or how big it might turn out. And with this test swatch, you can count the amount of stitches per inch to get a more accurate measurement. For example, if your square was 3 inches long and it took 15 chains to get there, that's about 5 chains per inch. So you can take this calculation and multiply it by your measurements to get the exact size you need. For example, if you want yours to be 20 inches long, that'd be 100 chains. With this method, you can avoid the frustration of your projects turning out too small and ensure that you get the exact measurements you need. So now that you understand measurements, patterns, and shrinkage, you can now create your own pieces. So going back to that bikini I showed earlier, I made it, and this is how it turned out, and that's just from using a picture and ChatGPT. So altogether, this cost me about $5 to make compared to the $30 I would have spent buying it online, and the size fits me way better. So with measurements and some math, you can make your own custom patterns. Today we covered the science behind measurements, finding inspo, how to calculate shrinkage, and finally how to create a pattern using your own measurements. With crochet, you're making pieces that are custom to your body, sustainable to the environment, and far cheaper and longer lasting than fast fashion would be. So the next time you see a piece that you love but don't want to spend money on, consider making it yourself. All you need is yarn, a hook, and a calculator. Any questions?
I have no crochet questions.
All right, thank you.
Good job. Okay, let's see. Kendall, you waiting? Are you going today? Are you waiting? You go to the other group? Okay, so that would put Jesse up next. For the hiking thing. That's right, because you flipped last week. Hunter after that. I like that you wear your Smokey the Bear t-shirt. I think that's appropriate.
Yeah. Did you know that hiking can not only improve your physical health, but your mental health as well? Stanford researchers found that walking at least 90 minutes out in nature can reduce symptoms of depression. Hello, my name is Jesse, and today I'll be discussing how to prepare for a hike. There are 3 main steps that I'll cover, and they're selecting the type of hike, selecting the right gear, and risk assessment. There are many ways people choose to hike, and this can change the way you prepare. So it's important to know your intent before you step out onto the trail. For example, there's rucking, which are weighted hikes. There's foraging, which is where you intend to gather some kind of wild food like mushrooms. Wellness hikes, which are those breath of fresh air sorts of walks, and more. To determine your purpose, ask yourself what you're wanting to get out of hiking. Are you wanting to be more fit, or are you perhaps wanting to have some wildlife encounters? Something like rucking will be a lot better for weight loss than foraging, and where you're gathering food. Personally, my favorite way to hike is birding, and I brought some of my gear to show y'all. Once you've determined the kind of hike you want to go on, you can move on to gathering your gear, which is usually not that much. Here's everything I bring with me when I go out birding. I bring my binoculars, a field guide. I bring my life list, which is like a checklist of all the birds in Oklahoma, trying to complete it one day. A Cliff Bar, bug spray, and my water bottle. It's currently filled with coffee, but if I was going to go out hiking, it would be filled with water. And out of all of these are pretty unnecessary. You only need 3 things whenever you go hiking. Or 3, yeah. You need bug spray, a water bottle, and weather-appropriate clothing. Currently, I'm not wearing what I would really consider to be good hiking clothes. I have my hiking boots, but this is a good pair of jeans. I wouldn't want to wear this out on a trail because, especially in this heat, cotton, which is also denim, it will soak up your sweat and just weigh you down. It won't let your sweat evaporate, so you'll become really weighed down and really hot quickly. And I would also recommend a breathable shirt. This is all right. It's a light colored shirt, but I would recommend a rash guard or something made out of polyester, something of that sort, just something breathable out in this heat. As for bug spray, there's two main types you can get. This is DEET. The other type is Promethin. So DEET is great because you can get it on your skin. The main thing is you just can't eat. If you have it on your hands, you can't, like, I want to go and eat my Cliff Bar after having this on my hands. You don't want to ingest it. But it's safe to get on your skin as long as you, like, shower after you hike. You can get it on your clothes. While the other type, Promethin, it's more industrial strength. It's great for field jobs. Like, I'll likely invest in some down the line, but you can only really get it on your clothes. And it will stay for multiple washes. It's very, very strong. But you can't get it on your skin because it is cancerous. And then water. You don't want to pass out on the trail. Even if it's cold, I highly recommend bringing some water because you're physically exerting yourself. Other than that, it's mainly common sense. Wear layers if you plan to hike in colder weather. Make sure you're wearing comfortable clothing. Make sure to wear closed-toed shoes if you're going on if you're going on longer hikes. And lastly, and most importantly, is risk assessment. Know the risks you're accepting when you go out into the woods. These things include, like, knowing what poison ivy and other common poisonous plants look like, the difficulty of the terrain, and tick-borne illness. I have personal experience with failing to understand these. Primarily, I didn't research the trail I went on this summer, and I got lost in the woods for 3 hours. Thankfully, I'm not a missing persons case, and I'm here to talk with y'all currently. But it definitely taught me a lesson. I'll briefly mention we have bears in Oklahoma. They are black bears. They're not as aggressive as the grizzly bears we have up north. But it's something to keep in mind. And that risk is there, especially if you're hiking somewhere quite remote. Same goes for people, especially if you're hiking alone. There's precautions you can take, like carrying bear spray, hiking with a buddy. But just know whenever you walk into the woods, you are accepting these slight risks. All of this to say, I'm not trying to deter y'all from hiking. It's a great, cheap hobby that's been incredible for my mental health. But please stay safe, aware, and prepared if you choose to hike. I'll also mention I'm thinking of potentially starting a Audubon Society chapter, or an Audubon chapter on campus, which is kind of like a bird watchers club, and sort of like the eco club we have on campus, but primarily towards like bird conservation. So if any of y'all are interested in that, please let me know. Any questions?
How did you get out of being lost?
I scaled down the hill. It was 200 feet, and I kind of had to just slide my way down for a few hours. I got really cut up, but I'm still here.
So you get to the bottom of the hill, then what?
Follow the water.
Okay, so you follow the creek back to wherever.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a big piece of advice if you've ever watched like survival shows, is to typically follow the water. I was hiking out next to the lake, so I knew I could get to the docks if I kept walking towards that.
All right, well, let's hear it for Jesse. Also, if you escape prison, that's what they tell you to do, is go run down the creek beds. Dogs can't follow you there. That is not from personal experience, that's just my understanding. Up next is going to be Hunter. And that might be our last one, unless, we'll see how he goes. David, I don't wanna rush you, you probably go first next Wednesday. Okay.
Did you know uninflated tires caused over 600 fatal accidents in 2023? Checking your tire pressure is one of the quickest and easiest ways to stay safe on the road, and it just takes about 2 minutes. You use a tire pressure gauge that looks similar. Can I use the?
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. That looks similar to these. You see, he is currently using it on the valve stem to check his tire pressure, which is way too high. Apparently. Because tire PSI, pounds per square inch, it should be about 32 to 35. You can find a label on your door. There should be a sticker that says what the appropriate pounds per second, or pounds per inch, are for your car. And it just takes 2 minutes to bend down and check it. It's a good habit to get in when you're just filling up your tank. Any questions?
Wait, is that it? Have you had a flat lately?
I haven't, because,
Because you keep tires inflated?
yes.
Okay, what other hazards potentially exist with a tire?
A blowout, it could just kind of explode because of the tires, and it just keeping your tire pressure high, at a 32 to 35 can keep it from using less gas mileage. It can actually help with traction control, because if it has too much pressure, it will not grip to the road correctly, and that's not good.
Okay. Now, with regard to a wider application for this, you kind of mentioned it in your introduction. So why is this important for the world?
I feel like it's important for people's safety around, and to make sure you don't have to spend as much money on, I don't know, blown out tires.
And so by extension, if you learn how to do this with your tire, you can potentially,
You can potentially keep yourself and others safe.
and learn to do it with other parts of your car
Yeah.
as well. All right, okay. All right, let's give him a hand. Way to go, Hunter. Kelsey, is that slime ready yet?
Oh, yes.
You wanna go up to the front and demonstrate it since we have a little more time left.
Okay.
We're bringing Kelsey back. Encore here.
So after I got done, it did take a little bit longer just because of the amount of glue I used. I had a little bit more not cornstarch, I have used cornstarch in the past. I used a little bit more baking soda and contact solution, and I messed with it, and now it's less sticky. It's not coming off on my hands. You can see my hands are clean, and you can just stretch it. If I can get the desk cam. You can kind of circle it around. A lot of people, if you know what ASMR is, it's, they have, I don't know, it's like a quiet room and then it just has noises. So this kind of reminds me of a YouTube channel you could watch. And it's a fun thing to do. You can stretch it out and try and make bubbles. You can crack it. And it's just fun. It's a fun stress reliever. Easy to do, if I can get the camera back on me. It's fun to see how long you can stretch it out. Try not to get it all over the place. But it's really fun, and I really enjoy it, and I encourage all of y'all to do that as well.
Well, hold on, will it pick up like comics, like Silly Putty will? Can you put it down on a comic of some type, and will it pick up the image of that from the ink?
I don't know, actually. I've never done it before. But I do know that if you're not careful with it, that it can pick up messes that you have. Like if you have like dust or things on the ground, it will end up picking that up and it'll get all dirty. So just make sure you don't put it on nasty substances like
Alright.
that. But yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, let's give her a hand. We're coming back. What do we have? 4 whole minutes? Less than enough to do another speech, so I'll do some summary things on these. And we'll call it good for today. And then we know who's going on Wednesday. We should be able to get through all of those. It looks like we're doing, 7 or 8-ish each time we get up here. And what I was really happy about today is, there were only a couple of ums, and it was one person. And so that was really positive. So I think you're all picking up that skill of how you can go ahead and talk without having that pop up all the time. So I thought that was really good. I'm also liking, and I put this on a few of you, just because I didn't put it doesn't mean that I don't think that way, but your demeanor is improving on stage. You're getting more comfortable up here, a little more comfortable in front of the camera. Now I always will say to some people, you could be a little bit louder. So Caden, you could be a little bit louder. Bailey, you could be a little bit louder. I remember Jasmine, maybe you could be a little bit louder. And that's just getting used to being in a room and projecting, going ahead and letting it go. It is kind of intimidating sometimes to be up here and you're in front of people, you got a camera on, and you're within yourself and you're reading or talking and showing whatever it is that you're showing. You're trying to get used to all that. And so I know why you recede a little bit. But what I always want to say to anybody who's demonstrating something is you know more about whatever you're talking about than we do. So you should be the competent one because this is your subject matter. It's what you're trying to get across to us. So go ahead and raise your voice a little bit. It's not going to make us mad or make us think that you're yelling at us or anything like that. I also liked how several of you brought out the wider application of this, and that is something that is always important to remember. You have your local thing, whatever that is, but it has some broader application. It may be an intellectual one, it may be a philosophical one, or it may be something that's very practical, like Hunter was saying with your tire inflation. You want to check that out, because if you don't, your tires wear out faster, you may open yourself up to an accident, that kind of thing. And similar to Caden, I was kind of dragging that out of him because the golf swing is a complicated thing. And if you can learn how to do that, you can do all kinds of other things that are complicated. I think most of you are doing a really solid job on looking up more than you're looking down. I may have made that note on a couple of you, to not read so much, to talk more. Remember, when you're doing a speech, you're speaking, and the better you know your text, the less you have to refer to it. The text should be your safety net as opposed to your, what's the other word I would want to use there? Something that you're just, your crutch. And so you're constantly focusing on the text less than communicating what's in that text to your audience. So I made that a couple of comments. But overall, I thought everybody did a really solid job. Good talking, good details. You're breaking out significant terms and explaining them, so I really didn't have as much to write this time, which was good. I think y'all did well. So on Wednesday, we're going to come back, and we'll have the balance of the speeches, and hopefully we'll get through all of those. And then, even if we have one left over, we'll do that on the following Monday. This is week 8, is where we are. This is the official halfway point of the semester. So we're all doing pretty well in this class. I think your other courses probably giving you a little more challenge than this one. But I hope this one is beneficial to you over the long term, and I think it will be. All right, well, that's it for today. We'll see you Wednesday.